Hello, this is Dr. Glasbrenner from George Mason University, and in this video, we will learn about how to plot cumulative distribution functions in R. If you would like to follow along with the examples shown in this lecture, you can load the dataset directly from the internet by placing the following setup code block at the top of a new R Markdown file. This will load the tidyverse package and then subsequently load the county complete dataset from data.cds101.com. The probability mass functions we discussed in the last lecture are a handy tool to use when exploring different distributions within a dataset. Although they allow us to directly compare data distributions, they suffer from the same problem where the bin width can strongly influence what the visualization looks like. The density plot is a reasonable alternative to the PMF plot, helping to overcome the bin width problem. However, there are times that the density plot may not be enough. If the data distributions have different widths, multiple outliers, or very skewed data, then the density plot can also encounter problems. A convenient way to overcome some of those problems is if we convert the data into a sorted list of percentile ranks. There are several advantages to this approach. We don't need to select a bin width. It is easier to compare the similarities and differences of different data distributions, and different classes of data distributions have distinct shapes when visualized in this way. Plots that provide a map between the percentile ranks and the values in a data column are known as cumulative distribution functions, or CDFs. ggplot2 comes with a handy convenience function called stat_ecdf, which lets you create and visualize CDFs very easily. We set up the ggplot visualization in the standard way, and instead of a geom, we have stat_ecdf. Inside of the AES mapping, we set x equal to our data column mean_work_travel. We run the code, and we get our visualization. By looking at this curve, we see that the 50th percentile sits around 22 minutes, which would also be the median value. As another example, the 75th percentile sits around 26 minutes. So we can see how we can use these plots to quickly estimate the values that define the different percentiles. We can do all the usual operations with stat_ecdf, such as grouping by state. So, continuing with our examples of comparing the average work travel times between Maryland and Virginia, we can build and visualize the CDFs for each state in just a couple of lines of code. We begin by piping our county dataset into filter, where we filter the dataset down so that it only contains Virginia and Maryland. We then pipe the results of the filter into ggplot and plot the CDF of the mean_work_travel column. By including the input color equals state, this will make a separate CDF for Virginia and Maryland and show them as two different color lines. By comparing the lines, as shown in the figure at the bottom of this slide, we see that most of Virginia's reported travel times are shifted towards shorter commute times compared with Maryland. We also see that the distributions are clearly distinguishable from one another. If they weren't distinguishable, then there would be a lot of overlap between the two lines. If you need the numerical values of the cumulative distribution function, then you can access them by using the cum_dist function from dplyr. This code block shows how you would extract the cumulative distribution function for the average work travel times for Virginia and Maryland. We begin by filtering the dataset to only include Virginia and Maryland. We then group by state and apply cum_dist to those groups using the mutate function. This will create a new column named CDF. We then select the state mean_work_travel and CDF columns. This gives us a table containing the cumulative distribution function for each average work travel time within the states of Virginia and Maryland, as shown here.